Hello, you too. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about checking on one another. I don't know about you, but every now and then, I like somebody to check on me. And because you just never know what a person is going through. You never know if they need to talk. You never know if somebody need to cry, laugh, go shopping, go out to eat. It's the small things that we can do to check on one another. Now, be careful who you check on because sometimes people are not honest. Sometimes people want to use you or manipulate you. Even people like that, they still need to be checked on. But these days, I'm going to talk about me. These days, I am very protective over my emotional well being. I can say in the past few years, I've dealt with people that I've been good to all my life. But when I went through a hard time, they didn't want nothing to do with me. They wanted to bash me. They wanted to act like I was public enemy number one. I didn't have no mind. And I'm not going to use my mother's passing in 2019 because of this, but it was some of the contributing factor of why it took me a while to get a grip on my life. But during that time, I'm talking about I never felt alone like I did then. Everybody was telling each other, don't help Elise, don't give her money, don't enable her and all that. And that's when I really realized that no matter what a person going through, you can't tell me what who to give my money to. You can't tell me who I can and cannot help. It made me feel very alone. And then when I even talk about it now, they be like, "Oh, you had somewhere to go. All you had to do is do this. All you had to do is do that." Sometimes people ain't able to do this and to do that. And what I was dealing with was more like an illness. Some of the things that I did, they wasn't right, but it was because of an illness I was going through. And that illness was the disease of addiction. But you know what I realized? Some people act like that anyway, you know. And one thing that I decided to do, because at one time in my life, I had 12 years clean and sober. But during that time, I stopped doing what I did in the beginning of my recovery. I was dating people that used, hanging out on the trap still, you know, suffering from emotional things that I didn't have to I didn't have to put up with. And I self-sabotaged. And so when I relapsed, everybody took it different ways. Some people mad at me, some people crying, but I'm talking about majority of them just turned their back on me. Now, thanks to my parents, I had support. It was a 3-year relapse, and I had support to help because my son was still a minor, and I had help with him. And I never did skip town or never come around, but especially after my mother passed, people just, oh, they didn't want nothing to do with me. And I'm talking about I still was a decent person. That's why you don't see and stab wounds and things like that because see, I'm good folk. And see, these same people that I was treating me this way, which I felt, I was good to these people all my life. It's like they forgot about all them years I was good to them. And they were listening to one another or what not to do for me. But you know what? I learned to forgive because by me holding the grudge against like that, That's what kept me out there longer. But what I did is I said, okay, how am I gonna get out this rut here? Cause see, I know what to do. I knew, like my video yesterday, I knew what to do to get back clean and sober. But when addiction get a hold of you, it's hard to get off that grip. So what I said, okay, the only thing that I know I can do is try my best not to lie, cheat, and steal. And at rock bottom, that became my weapon to life. All these people that thought they knew who I was or thought that they were hurting me, I knew God was there for me and He knew my heart. And I said, if I don't have to lie, cheat, and steal to the best of my ability, they can't do nothing with me. And so I held on to that. I'm talking about, I thought I was bad with it. What you gonna do if I tell you the truth? I'm like this. Cause see, I'm fighting for my life. And I still do it now. Nobody ain't gonna get me to lie. Ain't nobody get me to cheat or steal it. It's too many other ways to be there for yourself and others with qualities like this. But I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings. Everybody, oh, you need to do better. You ain't grow up like that. They don't understand. You don't understand unless you in it. And that's why I am so empathetic now because I realize it's more than one or two addictions. It's plenty of addictions. And me myself, I'm being transparent. I'm going on 2 years clean now. I'm getting myself back to what I need to be. Because tell you the truth, I don't want to be who I was. I don't want to be that person with 12 years because see that person chose to be with a man who was crazier than Flavor Flav. That person chose to go to a meeting and then after the meeting go to the trap. That person was still seeking approval for people who didn't even need it. Didn't they didn't deserve for me to be working that hard for their approval, in my eyes. And because I went through that, I'm able to now know and tell other people about self-worth. No matter what you're going through, you still God child. Or even if you're not religious, you still that good person that you know you are. You still are that smart person that you know you are. And that's why I am so protective of people, especially if they're struggling. You know, it's lonely in a place like that, especially when people don't understand. And then that's another thing I found out when I did get clean again. And I'm looking at a lot of different people behaviors who I thought that were all that. They going through so much stuff. And another thing I noticed, that's why I had to end up, in the end, I had to pray for folk all the time because I knew God didn't play about me, but they didn't believe it. See, oh, you gonna do this, gonna happen to you. Oh, treat me bad. I had to immediately say, God, don't even do the vengeance thing on them. Even if they know what they're doing to me, don't even do the vengeance thing on them. Because let me tell you something. God come back on them and he come back quick. And then that's why I say sometimes, you know, see, I had to pray for them immediately, and I ain't trying to boast and brag and stuff like that, but this is just what happens in my life. God ain't playing by me. You think you gonna mistreat me? You better pray and you better change. Because I even remember I had a family member who had a small child, and that's when COVID was out, and her husband was telling, don't be around. If you see your auntie and all that kind of stuff, don't you put on that mask immediately, you know. And this is a person that they call me auntie. Okay, they call me auntie because I don't have but one sister. But then guess what? Same folk end up getting COVID, and I never got it. You know, Some people, oh, it's one person I know. They wanted to turn my daughter against me. Oh, you don't need to help your mama. You don't need to do this, do that. It wasn't the other day that her own children turned against her. Her own daughters turned against her. And and Lord bless them and Lord help them not go through nothing no more. But you know what? See, that's what happens when you mess with me. Even if something bad happened to me, the God I serve allow me, his grace helped me get through it. So I ain't worried about bad luck happening to me. And the main reason why I don't have to worry about it is because I ain't out there trying to maliciously hurt nobody. I'm not playing like good to you, then turn around and bash you, you know. And that's why I tell my kids, you can talk to strangers. Because sometimes it be your own people that'll do you wrong. Your own folk. I don't tell my don't talk to strangers. No, no, I'm talking about it be your own kind that'll stick a knife in your back and turn it. And then in the one, some of them play both sides of the fence, front, you know. Oh, um, talk to me this certain way about a person, but then turn around and be around that person, bash them, all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the main reasons why I stay to myself because I'm still at a delicate point where I don't need to get too mad, too angry, too hungry, too tired, too nothing. And being around people like that, it make me all those things sometimes. And so that's why I protect myself. I hang around people who are self confident, people who ain't nervous about everything. A lot of times when you get around a person that they nervous about everything, it's because they lie so much and they not self confident. See, even if a person like that be around me, my body be uneasy. But like I said, I'm just expressing this not just to bash people, but it's very hurtful when you deal with things like that. But I still know to forgive. Lord, forgive them, and I forgive myself for even putting myself through those things. Lord, help and bless anybody that need blessings because the fact that I know I'm God's child is my blessing. And like I say, even if bad things happen, he give me the grace. He say, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect for your weakness. That's why I can boast in my infirmities for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, I am strong. Well, see, everybody, they'll holler that, but they don't really believe that, you know. And although forgiveness, I've forgiven myself and others, it still don't feel good sometimes remembering how alone I felt. Because even, I've dealt with addiction in the past, back in the late 90s. And, I was in a situation where I didn't live around fake folk. I was in a city where it ain't nothing too much. Majority of folk, they real people. You know, they the real deal. And them people, even at a capacity I was at, thugging out and living in them streets like that, they were good to me. You know, they were good to me. They didn't treat me like I was a secondhand citizen. They tried to help me. A lot of them believed that I was going to do better one day. And so I was used to that. But then when I got those years clean and then I was in another city, small minded, small town people, you know, these people treated me like I was a secondhand citizen. I can't believe, and like I said, this was my perspective, you know, and but a lot of these were so called kinfolk, you know, where the other city I was in, I really didn't have no kinfolk around me and stuff, but these were so called kinfolk that I was dealing with, and even when I look at it now, I'm like, hey, Lundy, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. And even stuff like that. Just somebody saying, "Hey," you know, it, see how I'm smiling. See, that's the kind of person I am. That's all it takes, a little something for me to, want to hang in there one more minute. Want to stay clean and sober one more minute, And everybody don't deal with that issue, but it's some kind of something that people deal with. But one thing about it, when we check on one another, we able to get through it one more day. We able to get through it one more hour, one more minute. If everything was so perfect, we wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even have to go to God about nothing. And we need to be reminded that He is in my life anyway, is the ultimate authority. You know, I often say that even if a person is an atheist, you could still be my friend. And I just let them know if you need anything, I could ask God for you. I'm not gonna not be there for you just because you might be an atheist. I believe in hanging in there and being with somebody. In times of good times or bad times. You know, we need to stick together. You know, and we need to talk about what we're going through. In the past, I would have been afraid to get on social media and express these feelings. But now I realize I'm not the only one that feel this way. I'm not the only one been hurt by loved ones. I'm not the only one that have hurt loved ones. But one thing about it that I realized too, a son, you know, we love our daughters, but they say daddy's girl, um, um, the sons, the mother's son, however they put it. But I love my children, but I thought there was a myth about mama's boy. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, mama's boy. Until I had a son, I thought there was a myth. But you cannot tell me nothing about my son. Just like my daughter's father can't, you can't tell him nothing about his daughter. That stuff is true. I think it's someone like an Oedipus complex or something. But you can't tell me nothing about my boy. And he's still a minor. He's 16 years old. He's a linebacker for the Peach County Trojans in Georgia. He is a honor roll student, Beta Club. He's a well-rounded individual. He's driving. He has his own truck. He got a job. He's a well-rounded individual, and that's the boy I raised. See, my parents helped me with my first one. But that's the child that I raised. We were all in it together, but that's the one that I had my hands on, my both of my hands on, where my parents couldn't tell me nothing what to do with this boy because I was taking care of this boy. I had this boy clean and sober. I had this boy taking care of him during my years of recovery. I had this boy. Now, when I relapsed for those 3 years, my parents did help me. But like I said, in 2019, my mother passed. And then I came back in from the relapse in 2020. And I thank God for everybody that helped me. But that boy I raised that boy. The woman that they say didn't have no mind has one of the most well-rounded children in the family. He's a balanced out child. He's not protected from the world where he don't know what drugs and guns and trouble and tragedy is. He know that side, and then he know how to stick with the best mathematicians that you can find. He just a well-rounded individual just like me. you know yes, I know how to, I know about the thugs, and I know about the streets, and I know about that. But at the same time, you'll catch me at a museum. You'll catch me in speech competitions and different things. I went ahead. I got a and not bragging, but I'm just letting you know how you don't have to let addiction and what people say about you matter, because I went back to college in 2008 and I got a bachelor's degree in social work. I went along to graduate school and got a master's degree in mental health counseling. But this is the same person who people thought that drugs mess with my mind, and I ain't had no sense when I was on my relapse. But one thing about this, what I tell people, even the streets can't take your knowledge. Because them same people that thought I ain't have no mind, now they want me to do stuff for them. Now they want me to read over important documents. Now they want me to take care of some of the business that they don't understand what's going on. They want me to do the emails and this. They want me to speak to certain people for them. And in my mind, sometimes I really, it wasn't even hard 2 years ago. You ain't even believe in nothing I said or did. But now you need me. And I'm there and I'm willing to help. But I say it like that because I'm still human. And that hurt me, and that's one of the reasons why I will take up for somebody that need to be taken up for. I know how to differentiate if somebody hurt me or not. My own folk taught me how to do that. I know how to spot trouble a mile away, you know. But I still know how to say, Lord, bless them and mean it from the bottom of my heart. I promise you, even though you might hear a little hostility in me, I mean it from the bottom of my heart when I ask God to bless them because He's so good. I want everybody to get some of this. I want everybody to have some of this, you know. Bless everybody, even the people that are against me. Bless them still. Because like I've shared before in my other live that they were like, oh, she need to straighten up, she need to do better, and then now she thinks she all that. I don't know who she thinks she is. Lord bless them folk, because I promise you, when I see some good happen to people, I be excited. I'm talking about for real, for real. I be happy. Ain't no reason for nobody to be jealous. That's what I tell my children. Do not ever be jealous of nobody. Because what God has for you is for you, and what God has for them is for them. Don't never be like, oh, somebody. And you know what? Lord bless them, but I ain't got time to be around jealous folk that can't be happy for somebody, that can't follow through, or how you supposed to help a person or see about a person or see about yourself and help yourself. Because the world, I already know, and I tell my children, the world don't owe us nothing. We owe it to ourselves and to God to be the best people we can be, and we can do it. So each day I'm beginning to be a better person and learning more. And like I said, I wouldn't even trade places who I am now, even for that person that with that master's degree that had 12 years clean. I won't. Because now I've learned so much more. It's certain things that I will not stand. I will not be with somebody just so I can say I have somebody. And I definitely, you know what? I don't care how much money somebody's. Oh, I give you this if you do. You better keep your money. I learned that I don't, that's that kind of behavior, especially when I'm clean and sober. If I go trying to be with somebody just because they got some money, that's called tricking. That's prostitution. Especially if you don't like a person. I have friends, they clean and sober friends. I buy this for you, I do this. Keep your money. The God I serve will drop $100 bill out the sky. And I'm glad that I've come to that point now. I'm glad that I've come to rely strictly on God to to fulfill my needs. Even when I was at rock bottom, I used to tell people, if you need something, I ask God for you. God give me anything I want, think of thinking of. He gives me, and He does it in His time. And sometimes quicker than I thought. Sometimes it be a little later. But anything I think of thinking of, He give me. And that, not breaking promises, trying my best not to lie, cheat, and steal. That is what's getting me through each day, really. And I'm hanging around people that feel that think like this too. You know, I'm 48 years old, and it's not too late for me to really live the life I want to live. And God has blessed me. Yes, He has. And I appreciate everything He has done. But I see what's around the corner, and I know what's around the corner. And even with my son, I know Lord willing, he will be in a Division 1 college, and he will succeed because he's heading down the path that a lot of successful college and for professional football players, he's acting just like them, and some of them he even better than them. And God gonna have to help me because I want to be like so bad. When my son succeed, everybody that had a problem with me, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy now. When you see me at the Grand Canyon and going to Poland to Auschwitz and different trips and different things that I do, you keep that same energy unless you willing. And the Lord gonna have to help me this unless you're willing to admit why you treated me like you did when me and my child was going through me and my children were going through our little period of time where we were struggling a little bit. Keep that same energy, you know. It's some people that they help my child and stuff, but I also know that some people from day one didn't like the fact I was finna have a child. I've had family members who wanted me to get rid of my baby when they thought that I was pregnant because my parents were already taking care of one of my children. So they were like, oh, she's just trying to put children on her parents. But my daddy came in that room when I took that pregnancy test. My daddy and my son's daddy. My daddy told me this may be a blessing in disguise. And my son's daddy was behind me 100%. So I said, long as if I got them two behind me, I'm going to have this baby. And now he's 16 years old, heading for success. But I even had family, close family members. They didn't even want me to have my baby. Can you believe that? And for so long, I had to try to work with that because I'm like, how could you not want an innocent life to come? I'm glad I had enough sense to keep my baby. And me and my baby together. We together. Right now, he at basketball practice because he gonna play basketball too this year because he's an excellent basketball player. But football is his number one sport. He's at basketball practice right now. He's going to work later on. This is my 16-year-old son. He turned 16 in January. And I know it sounds like I'm a bragging mother, but I just want to let them know that I let that baby live. God allowed that baby to live for a reason. I'm so glad I didn't listen to these people. And I'm talking about these are close family members. Close family members, you know. And I'm getting better with that because that really hurt me too. But like I say, keep that same energy when my baby become a success because he's heading in that direction and because he's well rounded. He said a lot of folks smoke weed and he know some of his friends on the team that do it and all that they get in all this trouble, and he around these people, but guess what, he chooses not to do it. And I think part of it is because he saw what I took my parents through during my time of trouble, and I think he don't want to go that route. My daughter, she's doing very good. She's a well-rounded individual. She works. She takes care of herself. She can afford to take care of herself too. She don't have to live with nobody if she don't want to. Sometimes children they put up with stuff from their parents and stuff because they need them so bad. My daughter is very financially stable and she's self-sufficient. And so I thank God for my children. So I'm going to end this note to let you people know. Communicate. Tell people how you feel. Even if you have to get you a YouTube to express how you feel, because you just never know. It might be somebody else that feel the same way. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and the like button. And I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day, everybody. I love you. Ooh,